Good evening, good evening, good evening. You wanted a war, you got a war. It's the war of the handsome chappies. And one suspicious-looking, be-haired person today. Look at him spoiling the entire atmosphere with his nice head of hair. We've got Cosy, Brian, and Suzie, who are muted right now, so you can unmute yourselves. For the Thursday Night Podcast, American Scouser TV Thursday Night Podcast. ASTV Thursday to the cool kids. Something to be fairly happy, mildly joyous about maybe after today's game, which we will talk about. And also we will talk about these things here. The game today, I think that we can have minor quibbles about certain things, but overall a satisfying performance for once. We talk about the managerial merry-go-round that's been happening this past week. It has been dramatic and tumultuous. And then Barnsley into Cup for Monday. I think it's Monday. I hope it's Monday because I've managed to work me out so we can get home early to watch it. And then all sorts and everything in between. So first things first, gentlemen, we all talked about what we thought that this game would be. I didn't expect much because he had a nice little over-under on the shots on target, which we'll get to. I was not confident on getting anything more than 2. It looked made for an Arsenal, next step in their stroll to the title. But e-bagum, as they say in the north of England, we actually pulled out a semi-good performance. Actually, it was a really good performance in the second half. Probably the best one, press 45 minutes in a long, long time. Of controlled football, could have won it. Little situations here and there. Maybe different people in those positions, and we get a cheeky win out of it. But Arsenal, they didn't impress me per se. I didn't have any ideas to break us down. It was a very Hodgson-esque nearly. It was a very Houllier-esque performance. We controlled the back line. We were very compact. We came away with the 0-0. Probably were a bit disappointed to maybe not nick one. Bradley's shot was, if that had gone in, it's one of the goal of the season contenders. But nevertheless, we've complained about Arne Slot's lack of a plan, a lack of identity for the ensuing weeks, but he deserves a bit of credit, doesn't he, for how we played today. It was definitely a disciplined and coached performance. What say you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, listen, first half we weren't great. I thought Liverpool, kind of thinking about it now, I wasn't happy with the performance in the first half. I feel like you should go for it. But I also think they were expecting more of an Arsenal onslaught. That didn't come. So I think they've got a hard time. And you know what? If these don't want it today, like they didn't want it at Anfield. Let's be frank, they didn't want to win the game at Anfield. They're going to try and win the game off the bench in the 75th, which is, by the way, is a complete fair enough plan. If you're an Arsenal fan, it probably answers the questions about if the manager's changed his overall mentality in the big games in terms of sniffing blood. In a big game, let's be frank, Liverpool are coming as a wounded animal with the injuries, with the current run of form. I mean, you can say form, sorry, but at least the current run of performances. And he hasn't really took advantage. When you actually look back after the game in the home game now, it looks like a really, really bad defeat for them because everyone kind of, has beat us after it. So, but no, going off today, listen, the first half is the first half. We've hung, kind of stayed in there. We didn't really commit many men forward. You mentioned the Bradley chance, but that's from a mistake from 2 Arsenal players who make the mistake and kind of, he's unlucky. But the second half, I just think they fancied it. I just think they thought, if you guys aren't going to come out and play, we'll try and play, and we're going to try and win the game. I thought by the way, it's full credit to the manager because I thought we were really good second half. I thought we were really composed. I thought we were really good. It looked like we could create chances, which has been my biggest criticism of him in the last few weeks. It doesn't look like we can create chances. It looked like we could, even though we never. It's always that famous thing when you're trying to win the league. You got to look like you can get 90 points, but you don't need to. You just got to look like you can. So it's that so I thought it was that as well a little bit today. Slightly disappointed with not creating more or working by it a bit more, I would say. But that's me nitpicking. Listen, I would have took it at the start. Liverpool getting a clean sheet at the Emirates, I would have took it at the start. So that means, it would have been a nice basis to go off. So I've got to give the credit to the manager there. But again, guys, we can't let this be, at least the second 45, just a flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. We need to see that performance now week in, week out. I know you can do it. We all know you can do it. You've got 8 days off now, I think, between you and Burnley. Forget Barnsley. We'll get to them.
9 days, I think.
Is it 9 days? So, okay. So I just want you to follow up on that now and be serious. You're playing Burnley at home. Listen, Burnley are no great shakes. Burnley haven't won a game in 14 or something. Burnley are no great shakes. So Liverpool I need to see that second half performance in the first half against Burnley. It's okay getting up for it on a Thursday night, against Arsenal at the Emirates. It's okay playing like that. We know, by the way, this team can get up for the big games because we've seen it against Real Madrid. We've seen it against Man City and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? And in those weeks, we've seen it before. I need you to go and do it against Burnley now. I need you to go and put in a performance against Burnley with a few goals. And tell you right now, mate, it'd be nice to get some smiles back on people's faces at Anfield because the last few performances has not been great. So let's take this 45, let's build on it, and let's kick on.
Now, because you were saying there about getting that second 45 as the standard for the full 90, but that has been mainly, I know we get kind of painted, Brian, as the curmudgeons of American Scouser TV on the Thursday night show, but that has been our main complaint, isn't it? We've been able to put in patches of performance, but not drag that patch out to a full game or a series of games. And sometimes like I'm listening to Cosy talking there and I'm just getting kind of PTSD back to the Roy Evans days when we were well capable of taking the game to Man United, well capable of taking it to Blackburn Rovers, who would have been the main guys challenging Man United, and then losing to Norwich and QPR like the week after. That's the kind of thing. Yeah,
we didn't beat Everton. We didn't beat Everton for 7 years.
For 7 years. I mean that's the kind of, if you know your history, as the phrase goes in Liverpool fandom, it's not something we want to get back to. I call us the realists of our channel. We react to what we see, what's in front of us, not the ideal of what we want it to be. And Arne Slot has not earned his corn for, let's say, the first half of this season as a top level coach with top level players. But maybe he was shell shocked by that experience because he never had that at Feyenoord. He was never the big guy, because Ajax will always be, PSV will always be the big club, whereas now he's at a big club. But he is piecing together quietly a nice, resilient run. If we can add the cherry on top of that consistent two-half performance, not a game of two different halves, but a game of the same half twice and high quality, he may pull himself out of this, mightn't he?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I think aside from the first 35 minutes right there where we were kind of like put into a corner, I mean, right there, which you kind of expected right there being the away side, that you're going to have to go back in. And then I think once we came there and figured out that this is what they had to offer, I think we kind of opened ourselves up a little more and got a little bit more direct. I mean, I think that today, right there, this was the Kirkes that we saw last season. Today, I think the kid had a brilliant match. I mean, I think he was very vibrant. He came there and controlled his side. I think that he went back. He did everything that we wanted from a left back right there, including going through the long balls that he had, and also going back into his interceptions and all that. So I think that there's a lot of promise. I think the one thing that we're lacking right there is the manager to have faith in another forward. I mean, I think that we probably could have. I think that we could have probably moved and had another forward in there that with a little bit more movement right there. It could have been. We could have done something. There's a lot more of, and I think could have been also the weather right there because of how the rain was going with how the pitch was starting to get and all. But both sides right there were very much passy and not really doing anything. I mean, you've heard comments right there saying that this is probably the most boring match that they've ever watched. It was just like watching a chess match at points right there, but there was no really end finish right there in the match until when you had one shot at 44, and then the next actual shot on goal was until like the 80th minute, I think, for Arsenal. I mean, so it was just a match of attrition, of just going back and forth through there. So, but I think there's stuff to build on in this match. I think that, you're seeing a lot of good connections right there between Frimpong and Wirtz, and I think Kirkes. I think that it's got promise.
Z, in terms of the conversation on the Discord as the game is going on, Jamie always says I have a coaching bias, and I do have a coaching bias about these things. But I like taking risks. I like coaches who take risks. I think there was room to put maybe Rio up top or Chiesa up top near the end, just to give the Arsenal defenders a bit less comfort. But that would be just nitpicking about the plan. It'd be nice to. It's almost wishful thinking. It'd be nice that we could create a hero out of one of those two players. They blag the goal that gets us that win. But nevertheless, it was the sign of a manager who's maybe coming to terms with what his issues are. Do you think in the club? What has been dogging the team this season? He talks about how he wants the game to be played, and the players aren't available to do that. We've talked about how maybe sometimes you just have to change things, unless you're Ruben Amorim and you're determined to get fired, which we'll talk about later. But sometimes you just have to cut your cloth to fit what you have at the moment, or play the table as it is, as they say in snooker. Do you think that Slot was right to be a little bit more conservative and just get that clean sheet and get that point? And then what were your overall thoughts of the game?
I think when you said there was a Julio-esque performance, I think you hit the nail on the head. And, we saw so many times under Julio, we'll have a great game against Man United expecting to get battered, but we'll take the points, or we'll smash and grab a win. And I think that today's performance echoes that. I think given the tactics and obviously you guys know I'm not Gakpo's biggest fan. I think the fact that everyone did their job to bring in a sub, and I understand why Slot didn't bring a sub. I don't think he wanted to change it. I think he knew Arsenal didn't know how to break us down. We pretty much man-marked most of the players out of the game. The set pieces weren't working. And to an effect, we did play like champions. We played like a team that I think this time last year, if we were top of the league, this is how I'd expect us to play. Like, to just see out the games, don't take the risks, and just see them out, like with teams chasing us. So with all that being said, I think all four of us here have given us Slot his shit. He stopped the rot for sure, but he needs to turn it around. My fear is that he's going to get comfortable in this, because player for player, like they all did their job, but Ekitike is not a defender. Salah is not a defender. So what happens when we're trying to chase the game, or we're trying to win the game, and you're bringing these attackers on who don't like defending? Then it kind of disrupts everything, or disrupts the way that we play today. And again, he didn't bring on the subs because I don't think he wanted to destroy that momentum. And he had Arteta's number today, because Arteta didn't know how to break us down either. But I think if we did bring in someone like Chiesa, who, he has a lot of bluster, but his end product isn't. In some ways you can see why he doesn't start a game or whatever. But I'm just worried about games like the Burnleys and so forth, when we're expected to win this game and we don't. And we play like we did today, and against the Leeds we kind of played similar. It was just possession, sideways, but no creativity. And that's my biggest fear now. But we're just going to draw ourselves to the rest of the season. And I think obviously the title's gone, and we're just going to have to steal wins in Champions League games, unless Slot could actually turn this around completely and slowly integrate the attackers back in, where we can get the best of both worlds.
Just before I make that point, because I want to ask you one little thing here, just very quickly. Do you think we get that result if we have Salah there instead of Frimpong? knowing Salah's lack of desire to do any defending. Because Frimpong put in his shift, didn't he, today?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Frimpong's been brilliant. See, I think since he's come back, and I think both, even you, I think when you agree in Discord, might be like most of attacking and goal threats are coming from the right because Frimpong, he it's just attack. It's just like he has no fear and he tries to create opportunities. We just don't get that on the left because we've got Gakpo. I won't go Gakpo bashing today. He did his job today. But yeah, it's that's a conundrum. What happens when Salah comes back from AFCON and that doesn't disrupt everything we have right now in terms of conceding goals and so forth.
There's a part of this though. This is England where Bradley's probably out for the season.
Oh yeah,
100%. So Frimpong's probably doing right back.
Well, we know what's going to happen. So Bozza's going to go. Right.
Well, I mean, so Frimpong is brilliant. No one's arguing that, right? And again, this is me nitpicking, but I feel like it needs to be said. His end ball is awful. His end ball quality is awful. He barely beats the first man at times, right? Which is frustrating. And as much as Liverpool were great in the game, we still walk off without having a shot on target.
Yeah.
So you can't win unless you test the keeper. You can hit one in from 35 yards. The keeper might just fucking catch it and throw it in his own net and you win 1-0. Do you know what I mean? Like, basically, they nearly give us one when Bradley scored. They nearly give us a goal. So, as much as Liverpool were great and it was a massive improvement because you weren't expecting much, there's still a long way to go. And that's where your Salah comes in and go, hey, we can do this, but I need you to win the game then. Like, we can do these certain things, but you've got to win the games. Isaac, you've got to win the games. Like, we'll do all your hard work off the ball, ain't none of us. But then you two, when you get the fucking ball, then you've got to put the ball in the net. Do you know what I mean? You've got to work the keeper. So I can forgive him a little bit because I know what you're saying about the Leeds game. And again, it's a fair point. Like, you know what I mean? We were dreadful in the game. We're passive. We just had no tempo and things. I just think they smelled blood. I think Liverpool smelled blood in the second half. I think they said to themselves, they're doing the same shit again. They're going to try and win this on 75 like they did at Anfield. And their argument is, let's be frank here though, gents. Their argument is, if it wasn't for a wonder free kick, we could probably still win the game 1-0. That's what you do, don't you? You sit there and you go, lads, we played all right there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was an Anfield away. He smacked one in from 40 yards. What can you do? You hold your hands up. It's a bit like the Fulham game, innit? You hold your hands up. The lads smacked it in from 35 yards. What you do? So, I just don't want to... It's not like I'm getting carried away as such. I just think it's a massive step forward in terms of tempo, in terms of a way of playing, in terms of an idea. I thought it was McAllister's best game in months.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That's a big positive. Again, Frimpong's a big positive. Kanate, really assured at times, like really good again, I thought. You know what I mean? Like another game where he's getting that confidence back. We've got to give the credit what's due. I thought Kirk has really warmed into it. I thought he struggled the first 15. Then I thought he was great in the last 75. So I just want to I don't want to throw fucking ice all over the old, do you know what I mean, on this fire kind of deal. But I'm just like, it's just a big step forward, that's all. But it's not...
I think today is... Sorry, I think... it's something that we say regularly, cousins. Like, you pick your team going backwards, and I think it's probably said to this lot: you guys aren't playing against. You guys aren't playing in the FA Cup, so you guys are going to give me 90+ minutes. You guys are giving me 90+ minutes.
You give me 90,
and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. They're having the weekend off, aren't they? We'll see you Monday.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're having the weekend off. I'll see you Monday, ready for Saturday. I think that's what he'll do, and that's what you owe. By the way, you owe him that now. Right, so you give them that break because they've run their asses off. Verts looked goosed. I thought Gravenberch's last 10 looked like he couldn't walk at times.
Yeah.
So I just but you just want to see some fucking heart out your team, gents, sometimes, and that's what we haven't seen the last few weeks. Yeah. You've seen them digging in and playing passively and things, but they haven't tried to win a game. They haven't tried to win a game, and that's what frustrates me. Let's be frank here, the Verts goal's offside against Fulham. I don't care what anyone tells me about offside, right? And then, you know what I mean? And then you look like, and again, the Frimpong and Gakpo goal, you get your look. I'm just at the stage, gents, where it's like, it's a step forward. We don't get embarrassed. We go to Arsenal going, yeah, all right, you have your season this season, but we're coming back next season. And we can, it's those doubts and it creates those kind of moments where Arteta barely beat, I think Arteta's beat us once or twice, I think. But it's just that kind of thing of like, okay, you can do it now. Let's kick on. And again, the part, gents, when again, I think you should mention it, where I have sympathy for the manager. It's January the 8th. I was on the footy player. So, as much as Liverpool need players, and we all know we need players, and we spoke about this last week, it's January the 8th, and the lad he's looking at his bench. He's looking at a 17-year-old Rio. He's looking at 2 goalkeepers. He's looking at Chiesa, Trey Ione. Do you know what I mean? Like it's fucking. So as much as again we give him stick, and I'm fucking. You know my thoughts and feelings on the manager since day one. I do feel sorry for him as well because he should be able to look at his bench and go, I need a legit attacking option, and he hasn't got one.
The only thing I was going to say was with Kanate with that game, it almost looked like that style of play suits Kanate a lot better when it's all coming on to him.
Which is weird.
Where misses, do you know what I mean? Like,
he was never that type of player, was he? But maybe he is now because he just feels like he's involved in the game. It's like, I always come like the Simon Mignolet centre halves. Mignolet was the greatest keeper in the world when loads of shots were at him.
Yeah.
When he was standing there on his own for a while and didn't have nothing to do. Liverpool having 75% of the ball.
Well, look, if I was the defender playing against Gyökeres,
by the way, Jesus Christ, mate.
If you think in those terms, just imagine how bad it would have been if David James had had handheld consoles.
Oh, fella. No, I mean, again, it's just, again, we should give credit where it's due because we give Kanate all the stick. But the last few games, he's been all right. I thought he's been single against Fulham. I think he should be better with the first Fulham goal. But I thought today he was really good. I thought it was a great foul that he won on Jesus, by the way, because they're both.
Yes.
It's very rare you see centre halves take the fall. They always try and stand up and muscle him and be stronger and all that. They make a mistake. He takes the fall. He does it right, and there's a few green shoots of recovery, as they say.
Now, Brian, I missed the first half for work reasons, obviously.
You didn't miss much.
Well, here's what I was going to say. This is the momentum thing from Sofa scoring. And if you look at the first half, it clearly shows Arsenal having the upper hand, except for a period just after maybe the 20th minute or thereabouts. But that second half there, that does not look like a team that's challenging for the league, does it? In a home game for them, we dominated. Us, the one-legged wounded animal, looked more like we were doing so. Like, other than that little blip there at the end, that didn't look like a championship performance from Arsenal, did it? I mean, you're kind of kicking yourself that we're not having a good season, Brian, because if they're the bona fide challengers for the title, the Liverpool team of last year would be streets ahead of them, wouldn't they?
But if you look if you actually looked at it, they could handle us on the touchline. I think that's the problem with that we were running all over them between Frimpong and Kirkes on those and Bradley on the touch lines on both sides of there. They couldn't handle us. We were just running past them like they're now the middle of the pitch. I think it was a little bit of a different story. I think we had some struggles in the middle of the pitch a little bit. I mean, as far as like controlling the ball, and I think we had a lot of balls that went nowhere. If you look at that, and even in the second half, we had a lot of problems with that right there, where everything was trying to go from the outside, which I'm good with right there. The problem is right there is that you see these type of performances against squads like this right there, but when you have a squad that has a low block and they're not to be negative right there, we can't break down the low block. I mean, but Arsenal had no attempt to do a low block when they were going at us, and we basically came there and were negating them because they know how to handle what we were doing on the wings, and so that was a tale of that story there on that. But I think that's going to be the really story right there. This game, I don't think that Arsenal that toward the end right there, I think they kind of got petered out. I really do. I think that they kind of just like didn't have any ideas toward the end. I mean, and I noticed that toward there. I mean, not to go back onto the stoppage time issue right there, which I'm sure we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. But other than that, right there, there just seemed like they were just like trying to put balls in the box right there, but Alisson also another one that to mention right there. Alisson was brilliant. I mean, what a brilliant match right there. Definitely man of the match right there on this end here. I mean, so they just didn't know how to break us down.
Yeah. By the way, I'm really interested to see what would have happened if City won. Would he have took that draw?
Oh, Arsenal would have came there.
Would he have took the draw? So, Mark, I know you've never seen the first half, but they didn't have a shot from the 44th minute until the 93rd or something. They didn't have a shot.
Yep.
And I just think, like, during certain games in the season where you're going to set yourself as champions, you can break down every single campaign or whatever happens. You go somewhere and you win, or you have a big game against someone where you go, fucking hell, you know what I mean? Like, they've come and we battered them. We went to City last year in February and battered them. And by the way, this is still City. It felt like a massive game. It was Slot's first time at the Etihad and we just battered them.
Yeah.
Because we're the champions. That was like the champions elect performance. You just don't feel with that. City have thrown 3 on the bounce and City will be sitting there going, we'll cash these. We'll get them back at the Etihad and whack them. And that's, I think, he makes those subs, but he also still doesn't go for it. It's super weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
when Brian said about that they couldn't handle us on the touchlines, I was about to say maybe Arteta does some weird thing like not have touchlines in their practices.
I mean,
Trying to have no sidelines.
He doesn't have technical areas, does he? He got booked for
No,
that.
apparently not. Yeah. Now, Steve says, "What are our thoughts on Sabo's performance?" I believe he got man of the match, didn't he? For the television.
Really?
Yeah, on the NBC or whatever.
Wow.
Stop.
How?
No. I don't know what I thought, to be honest. This calming down thing is fucking killing me when you're drawing games, you know. It's killing me, you know. That's like, we've got a bit of momentum, we'll get to him, we'll just go and then pass it back to Van Dijk, and you're like, lad, can we try and win the game still? I know we're trying to stay in it, but can we at least try and win a game? Instead of you just blazing fucking free kicks from 20 yards over the bar from 25 yards out. No, listen, his energy is always going to be important. I don't think he's been great since he's come back from his suspension. Since Wolves, I don't think he's been great. But he's allowed a little blip because he's been our best player this season. So he's allowed those little blips, do you know what I mean? But I didn't think he was great at all. But again, in terms of when he had the ball, off the ball he was tremendous, working hard and things like that. But when he had the ball at his feet, I just thought he's got so much more of ability than what he was doing. So.
Let me ask the three of you this, because I didn't see the first half, so I don't know whether this was the case, but it seemed to me like Wirtz is kind of getting a handle on the physical side of the game. Like he was bodying people all over the place.
He's starting to. He's starting to.
I thought it was 50-50 on the pen. Now I've watched it back. It should be a pen, you know. It's a pen all day. Takes on 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's not taking shit anymore. But I think the way we started the game was like us as fans. We just that's how it looked like. It's like they've been listening to Discord and they went out there and just expecting to get battered. And when they saw that Arsenal, I mean, I don't remember them having a shot on target either, really. But yeah, it was just weird. And then
44th minute.
Yeah, like halfway through that first half, I was thinking, I don't know why we're so scared. Like player for player, I'm looking around the pitch and like they don't really have better players than us. Really, it's just that we're just in a real like bad run. But player for player, I mean, it's not like we had Haaland going up against Konate and you kind of expect to get battered there or you know. And I'm just looking around. It's like, how did we get to this mess where we were like crapping ourselves? And I'm looking. We've got so much quality on that pitch, and even I think with Bradley, obviously prior to the injury, I think a lot of teams they underestimate how good he actually is, like with the ball. And it's just a shame that he's so injury prone. But no one really got much change out of him up until when he got injured. And I think that's a mistake a lot of teams make. They just kind of like. He looks deceptively bad, maybe because he's Irish or whatever it is, and he just looks gangly. But he's actually pretty good with the ball.
I just want to show that this. It's a nice graphic for me. It shows how compact we were in that game. And all the formation things before the kickoff was Gakpo as the centre forward, but it looked like Wirtz was almost the false 9 nearly in the. But that compactness was so encouraging to me. But let me ask you now. I was never, obviously, being a Liverpool fan growing up during the Man United era of Roy Keane. I was never a Roy Keane fan. Then Saipan happened, even less of a Roy Keane fan because that was probably the best Irish team that ever went to a World Cup that was equipped to take the path that they could have taken. I mean, we could have had South Korea if we'd have beaten Spain in that game. But what I like about Keane now is he seems incredibly funny if you watch all that kind of stuff. But what I kind of remember, him and Vieira and even the Nevilles, Gary Neville East to a certain extent, that bit of needle, like that bit of like I'm gonna kick somebody's head in if you're not doing what. When that whole stuff happened with Bradley, was anybody else thinking we need somebody? Even Jordan Henderson did it. I still love that Thiago thing. What was his name?
The Diogo Costa one.
Costa, Diogo. Like somebody who just gonna go like Konate maybe did it a little bit, but it was a bit half-assed. But somebody to go up and go, you touch my player again, you're getting your legs broken, like that kind of attitude. Yeah. Are we lacking that little bit of strange Souness-esque hardness?
I mean, those are. I can see what there. Konate came there and actually did that. I mean, Konate actually kind of came up through there. I mean, to me right there, I wanted to
he's like all bark almost like.
Yeah, I wanted to go knock his head off through the fucking TV. I mean, honestly, I mean when I saw him throw the ball on him and then start pushing through there, I wanted to go through the TV and knock his fucking head off. I mean, that's the way I felt about it.
There's a part of this, gents, right? It's a disgrace what he's done. It's horrific, right? And you've got to understand the situation. Clearly, he's went down. He's felt weird. It wasn't like if it was one of them ones where Bradley's, you've slid in, Bradley's jumped over your tackle and fell over, and you got up and went, "Fuck off!" You're just trying to buy some time. I get all that. You know what I mean? Dragging him on and all that kind. Clearly, the lad's injured. My argument is though, lads, and again, we have been too nice, and we don't know the dark arts, and we've mentioned all this before. At the end of the game, we're shaking hands with them, though. I'll be walking over at the end of the game, going, "Get down that tunnel now." Like, you know what I mean? There's no fucking clapping your fans here. Get down that tunnel now. We're going to have a chat about this. Do you know what I mean? Because if that kid's done his ACL, we're all over you. Do you know what I mean? We are all over you. There's no... We're all, again, too nice. We're all shaking hands and swapping shares at the game and that. It's just... I suppose it's just like... The normal football...
But that's the problem. I mean, I think Konate, like Brian was saying, he gives it. And I think even... You could see him, like... I think he was talking to Jesus, like, yeah, he'll meet him after the game and, like... It's been calmed down, but then you see Alisson like with the freaking nice guy, and, like what he did with Paqueta, and like he's trying to keep all the Brazilian players like because it's just the Brazilians, and it's true. Like what Roy Keane said once, like why are you shaking each other's hands? But I think it's because the international. That's where the international game has kind of ruined it. Like you've lost that edge, you've lost that needle where Liverpool, you're Man United, where Liverpool, you Arsenal, like. It's because internationally they all know each other and they're great friends off the pitch for whatever reason. And that needle goes out the window, and that's why we need a British player in there.
But that's why I'm talking. Like maybe Jones, if he was on the field, would have been the one to do it.
Absolutely.
I guess. But like that's what I'm talking about with Roy Keane, like a Roy Keane-esque, or even Gerrard to a certain extent. Like just didn't care about the international game. Like you know what I mean? That didn't matter to them at all.
Mascherano.
If my player gets suspended 6-7 games there for throwing a punch, I'm more than happy with it. Yeah. And that's just like, and listen, we could.
Here's the thing: if Konate went in there with his fist going and he's suspended, we'll be all over him.
Oh my god!
You're freaking idiot!
It's all handbag at dawn, innit? And that's what kills me at times. It's like your lad's literally season ended on the floor, and you got the opposing player dragging him across the pitch. Like, what are we talking?
He should have got 2 yellows. He threw the ball at him. That's one.
No.
It was just.
I mean, the FA has the right to come to retroactively look at that. I mean, it's probably going to look at. I'm sure it's going to get looked at and get out there because one, you put your hand on a player who was down, and then the second thing right there was that you came there and threw the ball at a player on top of the player. I mean, so those are two things right there that are definitely like are out of bounds, obviously. And I agree right there. Alisson was way too nice with all the Brazilian players.
I'm just thinking because I'm like an old fogey, and I just remember Graham Souness lamping somebody in the middle of the field just because he was pulling his short. Like you kind of miss those days a tad. You don't want the Vinnie Jones crazy gang every week, but sometimes it's just nice to have it.
Today was the first time I wanted Simeone as a manager. He would have taken the heads off.
Get on board the train, Susie. Get on board the Simeone train.
I want to mention this because I picked it up. I thought it was the most animated Arne Slot looked on the sideline probably ever that I've seen him. He was very animated, more than usual. I thought he was up and down the technical area. He was shouting, holding him back in position. He was a lot more in the game. Do you know what I mean? I think he felt like you're not going to come here and walk over us and beat 3-0. Just beat us 3-4-0. Like we're going to show some fighting heart. And sometimes players don't want to see that. They want to see a calm head on the sideline that you can trust the tactics and things. But I think sometimes players react to that, going, well, if you're in the fight with me, I'm in the fight with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're in this together.
Well, that's why the club was so successful. I mean,
he's being a leader.
I know some players, like a calmer head, where they go, we've really worked on all this all week. We know what to do, and we don't need you shouting and hollering instructions. But I think sometimes if you are that type of calm, composed manager and you see them losing the shit with you, then you're like, fuck me. Then, we are in this together. And do you know what I mean? Like, he's no ways late. So suppose in Slot's case, you can pick and choose your moments of when to show that emotion a bit more. And when the lads know, fucking hell, we've got to step it up here. This man, you know what I mean? Like, he's, I just think I just noticed it today. I was like, fucking hell, he's up and down that sideline today. I've never noticed him to be that animated. So
Maybe
Even in the press conference, he was getting a bit antsy in his. Yeah, definitely in his press conferences.
He's getting pissed off. Again, the Bradley injury probably doesn't help his cause either. He's probably got to go and do Joe Gomez for 90 now against Barnsley. And
oh my god!
I just think it now. It's all starting to snowball. I think he has to sit there with Tricky Dicky tomorrow and go, any chance of a football player, please, of any sort.
Even loans. I would take loans at this point.
I mean, Nalo has to go there and play. Nalo has to play on Monday.
How do we go from missing out on Gahey in the last minute and not having ready January 1st in front of his Christmas tree?
Even if it's not Gahey.
Let's get this right now for anybody who likes to keep receipts, and we know there's a few people who like to do that. We said this on August 1st, August 31st, whatever it was, back on this show. Well, he better be ready on the 1st of January because we got that far along the way.
We said this June 1st.
Before Leone gets injured.
Yeah.
Before he got injured. Yeah. Liverpool were going to sign us into that before Leone gets injured. Before Joe Gomez got injured again. Do you know what I mean? Because Canate's played like 30 games on the bounce, probably his longest run ever in his career.
Yeah.
We still haven't signed us into that.
I mean, that's the point of argument that I made on Discord right there. That we needed a center half. We need two center halves back in June, and we didn't sign any. We signed Leone as a prospect. That's all we signed.
Yeah. But by the way, Liverpool have signed one senior centre half since 2018, Canate.
Yeah, and now we have two kids that we signed. They're 17-year-olds. What do they mean? They don't mean anything.
They're not kicking a ball this season, are they? Not kicking a ball. They'll probably never kick a ball for Liverpool in the Premier League.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? But anyway, we shall see.
Bring back Jorgen Schmadtke, that's what I say.
Yep.
All he needed was 20 cigarettes. And
and a can of Tennant special brew and a beach chair.
Hey, how much was the ball like? 60? We'll wire that now.
We probably would have had some menu playing today.
But listen, again, and going back to the main point of all this, that's where I feel sorry for the manager.
Yeah,
because he hasn't got a lot to pick from there, gents, on the bench, has he? You know what I mean? Like, look at the bench. And then you want to put Train Ione in against Arsenal away.
No,
I don't want to see Rio. I wanted Rio at our time because I just thought we need an outlet of some sort on the left hand side, like Frimpong was being on the right.
Yeah,
but then that Timber is really tough to play against, and he's really rough, and he could swallow you. And he probably wants to see 90 minutes of Rio on Monday to kind of see where he's at again. And have another look at him. So yeah, I do feel sorry for the manager. I really do.
Now, speaking of managers, Cosy with the great segues again. I have zero thoughts on the young centre backs, Steve, because I spend 23 out of 24 hours a day working, and this is the 1 hour day I get out of it. So, if
anyone's born past the year 2000, we're fucked. Don't ask us.
We're in trouble. This last week,
wow,
these four in different divisions, leagues, etc., all losing their jobs. Maresca from Chelsea, Amorim from United, Nancy, 8 games I think he lasted. He lasted the same amount of games that Martin O'Neill did in his first interim time, where he won 7 of the 8, and I think Nancy won 1. And then Ryan 2 games, and then Ryan Mason. One of them crucially wasn't the cup final. The dead giveaway for all the Celtic managers, and Ryan Mason, I think, from West Brom.
Yes, West Brom. Yeah. They had won an away game in like fucking 17 or something. They haven't won away. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a tumultuous week. That's my word of today. I got word of today. Rob, tied the paper for Christmas. For managers, let's go. We're not going to spend any huge amount of time on Nancy and Ryan Mason for sure. The only thing for me was, St. Martin is taken out. We don't have that option.
Nancy was dumb. It was a dumb signing. It was a dumb managerial signing.
I mean, he was, but the same issue with him as with Amorim, coming in with a system and not fitting it to the players.
No. But the board knew the system before they fucking hired him.
That is also true.
That would have been a conversation going, how would you plan on playing? He went, this is my system. And they went, that sounds like an idea. and then you get whacked. So that's on them. I think the guys left, and I think the chief execs left along with them, basically.
Yeah, and there's probably. I mean, the Celtic is a mess on the board.
No, I know. I've been watching. I watched the Celtic Rangers game last week.
Yeah,
That was terrible.
You can't go 1-0 up against Rangers and lose 3-1. You just can't. And you know what I mean? It's the final.
Not at home.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not at home. But nevertheless, Maresca and Amram. The great thing about those two, from our perspective as Schadenfreude and Liverpool fans, is they both had these outburst press conferences almost like 48 hours before they got fired. Is there a thing to be said? We've laughed at Man United since 2012, 2014, and Chelsea had, at least under Abramovich, ridden high on the let's sack this manager now and get a storied manager in like Ancelotti or Gus Hiddink or something like that. But they don't have Roman Abramovich in charge. Now they have Todd Bowley, who is all sorts of weird and not suited to the English game, as we call it, at all. But is there a case to be said that the boards of both of these clubs are incompetent, number one, but are trying to exert way too much influence on the managers and coaches who should be allowed to do their jobs? If you're going to hire them, they should be allowed to do their jobs.
What's the jobs?
Well, it's a tricky one for Ruben Amorim, because apparently he thought he was being the manager of Manchester United. Although somebody pointed out that he was introduced as the head coach in his very first press conference.
So this is my argument. What is their job? Their job is to win footy matches. And of course, they need tools to win football matches, like our manager needs tools to win football matches. But their job isn't to sign football players, unfortunately. And whether they like the football players that they've got or not, bearing in mind Chelsea have got about 40 football players. And bearing in mind the United team that Amorim walked in for had about £1 billion spent on it. So it's very hard to walk in and go, by the way, I play a different style, so I need another £1 billion to go and get 15 players. Football doesn't work like that. And this is where, weirdly, I'm on the side of the clubs at times. You need to improve football players as well, you know. You need to improve footy players. You can't walk into a club and go, I have a system, I need 16 players. You've got to make some work. You know, as much as I don't like Arne Slot made Gravenberch work. He made it work. Do you know what I mean? He got Mo Salah's best ever season out of him in terms of his overall ability. You have to go in there and improve. Jurgen Klopp did it. Jurgen Klopp walks in and makes Bobby Firmino a striker, and he makes him the best in the world. And by the way, he's playing left wing for Liverpool and fucking weird wing back roles and shit. He makes James Milner an integral part of the team and stuff like that. Coutinho, he gets the best out of him. That's what coaching's meant to do. Walk in and go, I need 16 players. It's fucking but again, you know, so Maresca going, I need these type of players, and Ruben Amorim thinking he's going to be the football manager. Man United were never going to give you a football manager role. They don't give anyone a football manager role. They were never going to let you make that decision.
The things with Amorim,
go on.
The whole thing was just it was just
bizarre, isn't it? It's super bizarre.
He was linked to Liverpool. We didn't want him, and then he took a private jet out to West Ham. They didn't want him.
I know.
Why the hell did Sir Jim Ratcliffe go for him? It just absolutely made no sense. And even then, he didn't even want to go to. He didn't want to leave Porto at that time. He wanted to leave at the end of the season and then go to Man. He didn't even want the job, but the money's too big to like reject. And you know, okay, if it doesn't work out, I'm still walking out $1 million here. And it's like he intentionally just wanted to get fired. And it's such a pointing balance of a job. And it's like what Raheem was saying today. They still have Alex Ferguson just like a bad smell around there.
By the way, it's fucking bizarre, this Ferguson thing. It's absolutely. It's like going to ask your dad for permission for everything that you do. Like they literally met with him today. He's 83 years of age or something. The best thing Liverpool ever did for Liverpool Football Club was telling Bill Shankly to fuck off. And whether we like that or not, right? And people, might look back at that. It was the fucking correct thing to do, because the year after Liverpool go on and win the European Cup and win league titles and the most successful period in our history, he's not the boss anymore. He hasn't managed the club in 13 years. I'll tell you right now, gents, how many managers are still in the Premier League right now were managing 13 years ago? There isn't fucking many. They're probably Pep Guardiola, maybe. I can't even remember. I don't know.
One?
It's one. It's the one who took over from him. He's at Everton again.
Yeah, Moyes, yeah.
Moyes, there's shit.
So there's not many footballs changed in those days, and they still have this weird Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wouldn't park in his car.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the thing, wasn't it?
Just tell him to fuck off and go, you're not a part of this. Now, the Amarin thing, I think Amarin thought he was backing from a position of strength because United are actually in an half-decent position in the league. Look like they could get top 4. And let's be frank here, if you come from 16th in the league to 4th, it's a pretty successful season. Whether you rate them or not, that's a successful season.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool, and by the way, so he's basically come out and went, I need these players, and he's been on this big run thinking, well, I'm batting from a position of strength because where we are in the league. You're not that strong, mate. You lost to Spurs in a fan. Like, that should be, you know what I mean? You're not that strong. I just think, sometimes I think with managers, I need to see what you're doing on the pitch in terms of coaching a player to know that you can coach players before I trust you with $1 billion or to fucking X amount of money. You've got to show that you can improve footy players because you might want this lad and you tell me fucking, for example, Patrick Dorgu, I need him. He's a wing back and I fucking want him. Yeah, he's a fine footy player. He's fine. Is he great? No. Is he fine? Yeah. Have you improved him?
Nope.
No. But you said you wanted him. Did you improve? Has he improved Kuna? No. Nope. Kuna's playing like. Has he improved in Buemo? No.
Nope.
Like I'm just. I don't know, gents. Maybe I'm a bit lost right now with footy, where managers can just walk in and demand billions of quid and go, oh, by the way, I can't improve any of the lads that you've just fucking got for me. These 26 lads that you've signed, and they're all on fucking 8 of them are on over 100 grand a week. Don't like any of them.
So I mean, yeah, I agree. But then it's like you look at the first match right there they played yesterday. Sesko got a brace right there. Never did a single thing right there with Amran. Was completely isolated the entire time with Amran. Can't get there and had the second goal was like was touched with that toe poke was a brilliant goal. I mean, right there, never had a shot of it. Kobe Manu, that's another case right there. Kid's been just trashed right there. I mean, you know, and it's like it goes back to the way you manage players and also right there. I think that Amran had an agenda of what he wanted to do, and the players right there didn't fit his agenda. Even if he wanted them, they still didn't fit his agenda. And I mean, so it's turned into a mess.
It's my last thing on Amran, right? Because I know we can probably have to move on soon. I will go to my deathbed thinking about Manuel Ugarte, right? I'll tell you why. Because he was at Sporting Lisbon under Amran and looked like a player.
Yeah.
He sold to PSG for top dough, and I was thinking when he came to him, well, he's going to get a tune out of him, centre mid. That's his player. That's his lad. He knows how to play him. Looks like the lad runs like he's fucking towing a 4x4x4. He's a fucking smaller footy player. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is your lad. This is the lad you supposedly built up, and you can't get a tune out of a lad who you've played well for. He's played well for you before. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Harry Maguire's a great example. Harry Maguire plays in a 3-at-back for England. He's brilliant under Gareth Southgate, and then you can't get a tune out in a 3-at-the-back. I'm just a bit, I don't know, maybe I just think sometimes people, coaches especially, they overthink of a philosophy a lot. Like this is and they, you know, do all that. And that's why, again, come back to our manager in our situation, I give Arne Slot credit. He had to stop the rot somewhere. You can't still keep losing matches. You have to stop bleeding. He stopped the bleeding. Yes, it's not a permanent fix. No, but you have to stop it. Liverpool unbeaten in 10. Whether we think we're playing well or he's going to say, I'm picking up points, lads. I fucking had to do something. We lost 9 in 12. You know what I mean? I had to do something. It feels like these managers just can't change. And they're just like, no, that's it then. No. We'll just lose 5-0 then. We'll just get whacked every week.
Just by comparison, though, on what you were saying, Cosy, I will get to Brian. I don't want you to forget your point there, but just like by a comparison of somebody who hasn't A, got what he wanted, B, is just started his first season in actual football management and lost all of his best players, although did gain a great Irish goalkeeper, to be fair. But Keith Andrews is showing all those managers up at Brentford. Like they're 5th in the league.
Keith Andrews is a great example. He was the set-piece coach. So what's he done? He's come into the first team. Guess what he's worked on? Set pieces. Because he knows he's good at it. And he goes, you know what, I'm just going to play the experienced leaders. He brings in Jordan Henderson. What a great bit of business that looks like now. Yeah. Henderson looks like a wonderful piece of business. Do you know what I mean? Especially if they're probably, you know what I mean? So I'm just, sometimes, Jens, you've just got to adapt a little bit. You've got to change your
I mean, like the point of that is that he was a 3-back coach and the players weren't ready for it. So he just switched back to a 4-2-3-1. Bang. We're winning.
He's now turned Igor Thiago into a £70 million striker, which probably United are going to spend that money on in the summer. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a very United thing to do. So I'm just like, sometimes, Jens, you've got to improve footy players. You've got to create a buzz. Do you think Arne Slot's happy right now with our bud? Do you think he's sitting there going, I'm fucking made up, me and Tricky Dicky speak all the time, he's fucking made up with him? No, he fucking wants a footy player. Do you know what I mean? He wants a couple of footy players that he can work on. But no, you've still got to go out and get tunes, and these lads are just coming out in press conferences thinking you're the big I am. I think sometimes as well, gents, it's just trying to save face for your next job. It's just trying to save face. You sit down, the next chief exec, and you go, what happened at United? What happened at Chelsea? Do you know what I mean? And you can explain it and go, they didn't give me what I want. Oh, if they would have given me what I want, maybe we were on the cusp, we would have done this, we would have done that, we would have won everything. So
that's what company did, isn't it? Essentially, at Burnley.
It was honest. He got Burnley relegated. Looked like a bag of shit for 12 months and went, oh, this is just my philosophy. Then buy and take a chance on him. Look at Maresca. Maresca was getting linked with the United job. Are you mad? Yeah. Are you mad? Like, I'm going to go back to Sporting Lisbon and be a hero. And you're like, what the fuck? He was absolutely dog shit. Sorry, bro.
And that was the point I was going to make about Maresca right there. I think Maresca comes for that Chelsea job unscathed. I really do. I think that the ownership of there basically fucked him over in a long race. And I think that he basically said, "Hey, am I the coach of the head am I the head coach of the manager? What am I supposed to be here?" And so I think he came out there unscathed right there. But I mean, even with the signings he has right there, I mean that he came there. I don't know whether these were his signings or not. I don't know. I think these are a lot of Mark Bowie came there making deals with things that they're just to overload. And then, again, it goes back to squad size too. How can you? I mean, it's that you have to have that Cinderella. You have to have that Cinderella moment right there of what you need to have right there as a squad right there. You can't be too light. You can't be too heavy. You have to be right exactly in that perfect niche right there, or you're not going to go. You're not going to succeed. And I think the inconsistency you had right there. Liam Delap, right there, for example, has never came there and actually became a player for Chelsea. And I think that also you have the same thing with Cole Palmer and the other forwards they signed. They never have got any cohesion together right there. So there's always been a problem right there. And it goes back to sometimes you have too many like Chiefs and not enough Indians. The old philosophy goes.
There's also part. I think the last thing I want to say on Chelsea before we move on. Supposedly Maresca went to bat for Robert Sanchez and said that's his keeper. Doesn't want another keeper. When Donnarumma was available, when they were going to sign that Mike Maignan from AC Milan, that Robert Sanchez is garbage, you know. And like that has to be held over your head at times. Maresca's resume looks great. He'll walk in and go, well, I won that Conference League. He asked me to win it over, you did, and then I won the Club World Cup, first team ever, and all this kind of stuff as the new brand at least. And I got them top four, so I did exactly what he wanted. So he'll, and by the way, he'll sit down with the chief exec and sell that to them. But then he'll walk in and go, I need 17 players. And you're like, well, no, that wasn't the job, mate. The job, you've got to get the tune out of these lads because I've already spunk loads of money. How do you think managers get jobs? That's why Arne Slot has walked into the most perfect scenario. He's walked in the back of Jurgen Klopp and he built a team for you, and there you go, and handed the reins over properly. The way managers get jobs is a previous manager's done shit with those players. That's how managers get jobs. Not everyone quits at the end of the season. They all go, well, it's all free. It's a free agency now. Everyone gets a job. No, they walk in and go, hey, these have been failures. Can you get a tune out of them? And then these managers walk in with their philosophies and go, don't like any of them. That wasn't the plan, mate. You've got to get a tune. And again, I go back to our manager. Last thing I want to say, and I go back to our manager. Again, whatever I think about him, I don't care. He's been, the last 10 games, he's changed it. He stopped the rot. He stopped the bleeding. We stopped conceding goals. Liverpool in games on the 90th minute, which is nice to see. Liverpool were out of games before that. Nottingham Forest, hello. Do you know what I mean? Out of games. So, and that's full credit to our manager.
And then just to wrap that part up, Liam Rosenior, I can never say his name. I could never say his dad's name either. He was a decent player. He was a good player. In at Chelsea, it looks like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's in the running to be back at United.
Oh, mate, I fucking adore these lads.
It's fantastic.
Going back by the Rosenior one's brilliant because he's just got him from a club that he owns because he doesn't have any kind of money, which is absolutely tremendous. It's not like Liam Rosenior is the best man for the job. He just went, just get this kid in, that's great. And then, by the way, not to get too political, it's great to, by the way, and I want to mention those, I think it's important. It's great to see a black manager get a shot at one of the big top four clubs. It's great to see. Do you know what I mean? The last time it was Ruud Huller, I think. You guys might correct me. I think it's Ruud Huller back in the 90s. You get at Chelsea. And then the Ollie thing is just absolutely fucking hilarious. I just can't believe that. Picked up the phone. He just picked up the phone and went, it's a whole... Hello?
Here's crazy. I figured Darren Fletcher was going to have that job because he went over to Alex Ferguson, and again goes back to that same point right there. For a blessing to go there to do, it's like, who the fuck are you to get a blessing?
I read this that Alex Ferguson gave it. I've got to feel like he's the Godfather. You got to go in and kiss the ring. Kiss his hand.
Kiss the ring.
Like, you're gonna come to me on my door.
Between him and Ten Hag, they've just put that club back more and more backwards, and it's so great to see.
Good.
For Ollie, the one thing that killed Ollie, and I would say this, and I think it's important, he was actually on a bit of a good spell, and then they brought Ronaldo in, and it just destroyed him. I think he wanted to walk in the season, and people have got a little throwback name with Sancho, Rashford, and Mark Greenwood as his front three, and then 3 days before the window closes, they bring in Ronaldo. And he's like, he's just messed my whole fucking plan up. Do you know what I mean? I think that kind of destroyed him as well. Do you know what I mean? I think that was his front free idea. We know what happened with Greenwood early on. And then Ronaldo comes in. I just don't think it worked. And he has a really tough 6 weeks. The problem is, though, and I say it all the time, gents, in these big games, you can't get beat 5-0 by Liverpool at home. You just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. For example, if Arne Slot is playing, with Man United at Anfield and he gets beat 5-0.
He's gone.
Do you know what I mean? So it sticks out to him.
So, for Suzy, what are your thoughts? I mean, the Chelsea move looks like a 6.5-year deal gives him time at least. They're not going to get rid of him after. I mean, it's an economically stupid deal.
6.5 years.
It's an economically stupid game, but they're not going.
It's 2.5 months.
If I was a Virginia, I'll be laughing. It's like a guaranteed.
I mean, they can't sack him after. They can't sack him after 8 games for sure.
So I've heard the rumor that he didn't want to take the Fulham game because he said, I don't want to have one training session to get my ideas across. That's supposedly the rumor. That's why he didn't want to be in charge for the Fulham game. True story. He didn't want to have a look at our training session with the lads in case he confuses them. Professional footy players, gents, can't do a word search.
Oh god! No, it's great.
If they go for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United, is this now the official death now of Man United as a big club for realsies this time?
He's only a temporary, isn't he? So.
I don't think so because I think Glasner's a window.
Yeah, they'll always have that legacy name, but it's great to see. But I've realised every time I laugh on Man United, somehow we suffer for it. So I've stopped. I've got a pattern together, and every time Man United lose, I've got this WhatsApp group, and we have that African guy who like Man United, and just cracks up on that news, and we send it. We all send it, and every time we send it, guaranteed Liverpool lose. We drop points, so I've stopped doing that now.
Do you know one of the maddest stats that you'll ever hear? Liverpool didn't beat Man United under Ruben Amorim.
Yeah.
So, you know the funny thing is, United spent $26 million on Amorim. $26 million they spent on him. Who's
I want their agents in my life. Who's negotiating? You went in, so you basically. I love Ruben Amorim.
Wait, that was after giving Ten Hag an extension on his contract.
I hope someone writes a book on Ruben Amorim and his time at Man United because I am reading it back to front. So walk in and go, this is the worst team I've ever seen. This is the worst Man United side ever. And then he wonders why you can't get a tune out of them. Because you just go bullshit. You've lost to Grimsby in the cup and you're doing this on the sideline. It's just absolutely tremendous. All the little things he's done. He's hilarious. He's so funny. You go to Spurs. You play Spurs in a final. You've lost. You didn't even have a shot.
Big Ange. Against Big
Ange's 17th place finish Spurs and you've lost. It's just, I don't know, man. Listen, and again, he's walking away with 20 odd million and then he can sit down with another club and go, it was all their fault, which is absolutely hilarious.
That of the movie of his life, which will no doubt the movie of his life, which will no doubt have Steve Coogan in it somewhere. Yes. The final shot will be the actor playing Ruben Amorim walking away from Old Trafford doing the "Don't you forget about me" sign. It'd
be like Tim Robbins on Shawshank Redemption. He's just like that. But it's just like, no, listen, if it's only going to Solskjaer, the one thing I would say is, though, gentlemen, whether we can laugh because we're opposing fans, if you're a Man United fan, you just want to smile again. And I've said this about Liverpool before. You just want to have a laugh. And sometimes football is meant to be funny. It's meant to be a social pastime. It's not meant to engulf our lives. And I say this about Slot all the time, and I've mentioned this before in the chat this week, and that's why I'll probably bring it up. But the Gerrard conversation about me wanting Steven Gerrard in 5 months. I think if the conversation is with Liverpool, if let's just say Liverpool get beat 5-0 today, and Arne Slot's on the way out, just go with me on for a second. You can sit down with Gerrard and go, no matter what you do, you can win the Champions League, you are not getting this job. But for 5 months, you can manage your boyhood club. But if you come in and try and tactically organise these lads, forget it. This season's about having a laugh and getting some smiles back on faces and winning some footy matches and scoring some goals. And then we've got an idea for the summer. It doesn't matter what you do. I can kind of take that because before today, when we were all, as much as Liverpool were in games against Fulham and things like that, we've been shite and we're not creating chances. And I don't know about you lads, I'm fine sometimes losing 4-3. I'm okay with it. Do you know what I mean? If you turn games into a basketball game, and that's why I would always be okay with Gerrard if it was going to be Gerrard for 5-6 months and just go, can we just have a laugh? Can we just smile? We're never going to turn against Steven Gerrard on the sideline, are you, for 5 months? Do you know what I mean? And again, the big thing I will always mention, the fort of the derby, the first ever one at Everton's new ground, and Liverpool scoring a last-minute winner and Steven Gerrard running on the pitch. It could be lads, I've had 2 children. It could be the greatest day of my life. If that
I don't think he's
dragging Bobby Fowler behind him as his assistant coach.
By the way, Gary McAllister would probably be his assistant. Gary McAllister would be his assistant because he was at Villa, and get him on as well. So why not?
I think with Steve G, I don't think he'll be under any disillusionment thinking that he'll get a job permanently. I think he's realistic.
You don't give him.
But I don't think he'll even want it.
Yeah,
I think he'll just
he'll want it.
Just what he'll
want it.
Oh, he'll want it.
You don't give him hope, Sergio. You say if we win the Champions League and the FA Cup and you go undefeated, it's like the Phil Jackson last season with the Bulls. Do you know what I mean? And you can win 82 games, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But I just feel like if you said that to him, and by the way, for Stephen, it's a great opportunity to go and win a trophy and then rebuild your career again in the Premier League job. Do you know what I mean? And I just think it would be win-win all round. I just want to have a laugh, gents, when I watch me footy. And tell you right now, the last few weeks have been fucking tough, man. Really been hard.
Now, talking about having a laugh and it being a social occasion, this coming Monday, I think it is, we're playing Barnsley in FA Cup.
Do you want to explain what Barnsley is to our American listeners? How do you, man?
It's where Mick McCarthy's from. That's what I love about it. The great Irish football captain, Barnsley. Kevin Kilban.
What is a Barnsley?
Barnsley.
Barnsley were in the Premier League at one point for our American listeners, and then they kind of dropped down the leagues, and they kind of comfortably down the leagues, and probably will never play Premier League football again. But it's a nice game for Liverpool to kind of get some minutes in players who we all been asking for, Rio, Chiesa, and let's kind of see what we can go and do against Barnsley. And I put a little challenge
all over again.
Yeah, I put a challenge out there, gents, in our Discord, so I might as well bring it up here and see if we can all agree. Can we guess the starting 11? And I think 9 is a pass if you can guess 9 of who will start.
Well, I think Rio Chiesa is 2 of them.
Okay, so the keeper is Mamardashvili.
Yeah. Woodman. I put Woodman.
You think he's going to do Woodman?
No, he's going to play Marmalade. Yeah, he's going to play Marmalade.
All right. Well, you've been outvoted there. We believe in democracy.
It's got to be Mamardashvili. I think Jones plays, at least starts.
So Ramsey right back. Are we all agreeing with Ramsey right back?
Yes.
Is he even in the country?
He was on the bench today. So Gomez, centre half.
Yeah, it has to be Gomez.
Yeah.
Narlo.
Yes. Yeah.
For 5 minutes.
Who's your left back?
Robertson.
You think it will be? Do you think he'll do?
I think Robertson plays. He hasn't played.
I think with 9 days off for Kirkes, I think it's probably Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson.
So your midfield three is the most intense. Endo.
No, he's injured.
Is he healthy?
I suppose he's back, isn't he? Is he dead? I don't know.
Neoni's going to start.
I'm back to Neoni.
I'm going to say Neoni. And we need
Jones.
one more.
And Jones.
I think Jones.
I think he might do that Coney Doherty.
But Coney Doherty would be on the right-hand side of that right there.
Isn't McConnell back?
McConnell's meant to be
Yes,
back.
McConnell is back. So maybe McConnell. I don't know how McConnell's fit though, because he really hasn't played right there since September maybe.
How fit is Harvard? How fit's Narlo? How fit's Ramsey? How fit's Endo?
Yeah, true.
You got to pick some guys. So if we go that way, okay, your front three: Rio, Chiesa.
I want Will Wright.
I think he'll do Matt Morrison, won't he?
Morrison be good, but I want Will Wright at least on the bench right there from the Salford City kid that we bought, because I think he's actually healthy now, and he's actually doing pretty well in the U21s.
Okay, so I'm happy with that then. I just want to, again, this game. Listen, I'd love Liverpool to win a trophy. Liverpool should be beating Barnsley at home. So let's be frank here. Liverpool should be making 50 changes and still beat Barnsley. But I want to see Chiesa. I want to see Real for 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I don't know about you lads. I'm desperate to see him for 90 minutes. I want to see what he's like. Do you know what I mean? And I want to see Chiesa. So, but by the way, I do think it'll be Chiesa's last game for Liverpool. So.
Yeah, Figueroa's back also, isn't he? So you got Figueroa too. I mean, that you could still.
Is he back?
I think he is back. Yeah, he got recalled back too.
So I mean, is Owen Beck still there? I can't even remember.
Yes, Owen Beck is still. Owen Beck came back.
I know. I thought that. Yeah, Beck is back. Beck is back.
So that could be your left. That could be on your left back there. Then I mean, or at least Robertson for part of it. Then put Owen Beck in there for at least for some minutes.
Because you don't forget, I don't know about you, but I want Robertson at Marseille away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd rather have Robertson healthy right there for the Champions League right there because I think it'd be a lot smarter.
To be honest, lads, I just really want Andy Robertson to go through Mason Greenwood. So that's just my only hope in life, that he can just put him in the stand. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just think the game could be a bit of a laugh, and it's nice just to see a game without no pressure, really, until Barnsley take the lead on the 25th minute, and then
I just remember when we lost to Plymouth Argyle last year.
I know we did.
Freaking, this channel went nuts.
Yeah, I mean,
Scouser went nuts.
Can we just have some fun, gents, on Monday, please?
Yeah.
Can we just have a little bit of a laugh? Do you know what I mean? Can we just go with Liverpool, win a game 3-0, and just have some fun, please? Please.
I mean, from Slot's point of view, it's a gimme, really, isn't it? I mean, he loses it with that lineup. Nobody's going to care. It doesn't reflect on him.
Oh, I think it'd be massive if you lost because you haven't got the league to play for. We can swallow. You can swallow Plymouth when you're top of the league by fucking 12 points. I can swallow that, but you got to win a trophy. You got to try and win a trophy. No, Matt, you with me? You don't think that's?
But with that, I think when we lost to Plymouth, we're in the League Cup final, so we had still, and obviously we pretty much had the league wrapped up. I think this game now he has to walk away with a trophy.
I think it's a great chance to win a trophy, Mac. And then if you look at some of the draws, Everton are playing Sunderland. I think Spurs are playing Villa. Like some of the Premier League teams are playing each other. They can get knocked out this round.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's a massive game of footy for Liverpool in that sense. I think Liverpool will win anyway with all those changes. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think it's a massive game of football. Like he has to have a trial with a trophy, no?
And I think you have to go there and play these French players. You have to play them. I mean,
they could be important down the line, can't they? This is a big game to get, like, especially Rio. You can swallow Chiesa because Chiesa might go, and Endo might go, and these type of players. But Joe Gomez getting 90, Calvin Ramsey could be getting 90. You know what I mean? And then Rio, they're the main three I want to see get 90.
Yeah, I'll just look there because I didn't even know where Barnes were. The 17th in League One.
17th in League One.
You probably should be looking to beat them.
By the way, they'll make 10 changes. They don't want this fucking game.
They don't care.
So I'm just like, you know what I mean? I want to try and win a trophy. If you're not going to be in the league title in April, be in the FA Cup quarters or the semis for me. Do you know what I mean? Let me have fucking some hope in a trophy this season.
They're not very far off the relegation place.
Yeah, they're still in the same fucking relegation battle that Burton Albion is right there that I keep on following. It's like it goes really from like the 18th spot all the way to 15th is like a one point difference.
Wild. But yeah, let's see what happens, gents. But I do expect Liverpool to beat Barnsley. I would like to think. Come on, lads.
I don't see Slot throwing any trophies away now. Like he's playing. Forget us. Forget playing for us. I think he's playing for his next club. He wants to leave with the trophy.
But it's also like, and again, this is a bigger conversation that we can definitely have. I think there's a part of this where you sit there and go, you can put the FA Cup on the table in May and go, yeah, I lost these after injury, broke his leg. Ekatike's first season, he got injured. And he can have all these reasons with Salah, and now Salah's gone, you've found him a boss winger. And then he can kind of argue a point. But if you sit there and get beat by Barnsley in the Cup,
yeah,
you get bounced in the Premier League. Let's be frank, you had the league title race in December. And then you get knocked out in the Champions League against someone half decent, because that can happen, by the way. You can get beat over two legs. You've got nothing to play for going into February and March. I think the dog days are over then for you, aren't they? At least you've got to have a trophy on the table. So
I think one of the worrying things right there with it is that Slot doesn't do anything with the youth players. He doesn't rate him at all. I mean, I know that he's. I've read reports where where they told him, "Hey, come check these kids out, U21s," and he basically hasn't come there and done it. It's so different from Klopp.
There's also parts of this as well. Though, we'd been in the League Cup early in the season, and we swallowed that a little bit because Liverpool were in really poor form. You're like, well, these lads need a week off, and you've been in the League Cup, and you're playing Palace at home, you're playing Barnsley at home. Can we just try and ride this until the wheels fall off, please? In the Cup and let's just try and win it. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just fucking old school. I just want Liverpool to win all the trophies, as many as possible.
We all do.
I know, but I've had enough excuses of like, oh, it's fucking game time, and that trophy's not important. It's a load of shit. You don't get to pick at the start of the season. Hey, which trophy would you like to win? I'd like to win that one. No, you get in all for them and see what you win at the end and put the trophies on the table in May, as they say. So I want Liverpool to go as deep as possible in most trophies, and also I think it helps the manager. I think it helps the players to even stay hungry and motivated. I think, you know, if it's Mo Salah's last season, I think he'd love to win a trophy at Wembley in his last ever game. So I just think, you know, let's go all out.
I think that's the best sentiment to approach this. Let's hope Arne Slot does, and doesn't undo the goodwill he's built up over the last 10 games or so, and especially after today. But with that said, score predictions. It's hard, but let's give a score prediction. I'm gonna go 3-1 Liverpool.
Can't concede. Liverpool concede a fucking goal, Mark. Jesus Christ.
We're conceding from we're conceding from an Andy Robertson OG.
I'm going 4-0.
Yeah.
I was going 2-1.
What? A little stinking one. But hold on,
I've got PTSD from last year.
Between Rio and Chiesa right there. I mean, with a Barnsley team that doesn't care about this.
We had Elliot Jones, Chiesa, like
Barnsley pinned us in. Barnsley pinned us in the last 10, holding on for the 2-1 and under Sergi's rule. Liverpool's defence are built in the back of the Kop. That's how far back they are.
How injured is Ekatike, by the way? I didn't even.
He didn't train on Wednesday, I think, his post-match. He said he hasn't trained yet. He said he's meant to be training today. So supposedly he's got some kind of fitness. But he's another one who might need 15 minutes just to get a bit of back before Burnley, you know what I mean? Because, again, you're playing games every 3-4 days after Burnley, aren't you? We got Marseille away and Bournemouth away and, you know, tough games. The Karabag home game as well. And that's another game. If you beat Marseille, I think you're all booked through. You might just you know what I mean? If you beat Marseille. So we'll see.
So then I'll stick with me 4-1, but the one goal, the price to pay, the karma on the other side of it is Rio gets 2.
He's so great. The kid needs.
I thought you were going to say Darwin Núñez after, but there we are.
Rio gets 2. Ekatike comes on and scores the 4th at the end.
Can we have a night? I just want to, I don't know. I want like a Trey Ione or something, just like a nice kid scoring. I always like a kid scoring a goal. It's great to do. It's a lot of fun when a kid scores a goal. I remember when Ben Woodburn got his. It was amazing. But yeah, what happened to Ben Woodburn?
Hey, at least Harry Wilson's bounced back. Harry Wilson's like he's like moving trees right now.
Harry Wilson, man, what a guy he is. By the way, he's on some form, isn't he?
That's a sale I still regret, but I mean, it is what it is.
Chelsea
turned it around.
Chelsea are going to sign him for 60 million. You can see it now, can't
you? Probably. Or United are going to try it for 120.
Yeah.
I don't think you've got United.
Yeah, Harry Wilson.
he gave him a lot of stick.
He did, yeah. But he did that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, Matt, wrap it up. I'm going on.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. So if you enjoyed all this nonsense tonight, and you should have because it was fun, and we're all handsome bald guys, except for Suzy, who's a traitor because he grew some hair. But do this. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Click that like and subscribe button and that bell so you get all the notifications. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it's called these days. Blue Sky Mastodon, and Yuri Geller's super psychic telepathy class. Brian, Suzy, Cozzy, pleasure as always. At least we have something positive to be talking about after today's game. Long may it continue. Enjoy your weekends, everybody. It's FA Cup weekend. I love every FA Cup weekend. I still think it's the premier cup competition in the world. And you know, let's root for some cup sets at least. I don't know who's playing here, but if you know they're involved or Everton involved, let's get a cup set there just for funzos. Peace out, everybody. Have a good weekend. Stay safe on the roads. Here's some funky music.